It was the early 1990s. Porsche was in deep trouble. The glory days of the 1980s were over. The 928 was starting to age, the 968 was becoming irrelevant, and the 911, once Porsche's crown jewel, was struggling to justify its price. The global recession had hit hard. In 1991, Porsche sold just over 14,000 cars worldwide, barely enough to keep the lights on. Every car was hand-built, costing Porsche thousands, making every process slow and every mistake expensive. It wasn't a giant or global car maker at this time, and it needed to adapt to modern times. As analysts had started to predict, Porsche wouldn't survive the decade. The company needed a miracle, something affordable, efficient to build, and competitive with other automakers. And that miracle began in 1992. Porsche's design team, led by Grant Larson, started experimenting with an idea inspired by the brand's early icons, the 356 Speedster and the 550 Spyder. All known for being lightweight and convertible sports cars. They wanted a car that reconnected Porsche with its essence, lightweight, simple and driver focused, but copied the design elements from its past. But there was a problem with this. Porsche couldn't afford to build a brand new car. So engineers decided to share parts with the upcoming 996-911 generation. 2 cars, 1 platform. It was a radical idea and concept, but if it worked, it could cut costs in half and make both models highly profitable. Porsche tested the concept with a Porsche 964 turbo-bodied 911 and installed the mid-engine into the car at just how it's set up in the current Boxster to test it, and results were well received enough for the car to be greenlit. And so at the 1993 Detroit Auto Show, Porsche revealed the Boxster concept, with its name being a play on words, the word box from boxer engine and stir from roadster, put together to create the clever name. The reaction was immediate. Some were mixed, some loved it, others thought it missed what being a Porsche was, with its new water-cooled and wet-sump engine, but with its price tag, even Porsche's competitors took notice of something so simple. But could Porsche turn that concept into a production car and make it affordable enough to save the brand? In 1996, the production Boxster finally arrived. A 2.5 litre mid-engined flat 6 and a 5-speed manual gearbox. The first all-new Porsche in almost 2 decades, and the first roadster since the 1950s. Some called it the baby Porsche, others laughed at its headlights that it shared with the new 996-911. But while enthusiasts argued, Porsche's accountant smiled. The Boxster was selling, and fast. In its first full year, Porsche's global sales nearly doubled. And this helped push the car further in the 2000s. It was fitted with a bigger 2.7 litre flat 6 engine as standard, and also helped them launch the new Boxster S with a bigger 3.2 litre engine that was initially meant for the 996. And don't forget a 6-speed manual transmission, which helped more cautious enthusiasts decide to take another look at it. The company that was on life support 2 years earlier was now profitable again. The Boxster helped Porsche launch a comeback, and a needed one. It was the car nobody expected, doing the impossible. The 986 Boxster wasn't about power, it was about balance. Its flat 6 sat low and central, giving it a near perfect weight distribution. The design of the car shared so much with the 996-911 that it helped the car feel more raw and give it a needed visceral driving experience. Porsche had discovered a new concept with the Boxster, or should I say rediscovered. A mid-engine sports car based on a 911 could really work. I should note some people might have been telling them to move the engine further forwards for quite a few years. But with that, this car helped influence many of Porsche's loved icons today, such as the first Cayman, the 987, all the way to the later GT4 RSs, and helped Porsche slowly push their rear engine slightly further forwards with every new 911. And thanks to the shared engineering with the 911, production costs were slashed, reliability improved on the production line, and quality was matched throughout the cars. For the first time in years, Porsche could compete, not through prestige like they had become accustomed to, but through their roots. Something they'd known all too well building race cars in the 60s and 70s. Smart and efficient engineering, and taking the right steps in pushing what others may say is impossible. Unfortunately, despite its success, the Boxster carried a stigma. Purists dismissed it as the cheap one, the car for people who couldn't afford a 911. But years later, those same critics began to change their tune. Realising deep down the Boxster isn't a compromise, it was returned to Porsche's roots, a lightweight, engaging and all-important honest. In an era before turbocharging and electronics took over, the Boxster was a pure connection, a car that can make every driver feel like a hero and capable of driving a thrilling sports car. Without the 986 Boxster, Porsche might not exist today. It funded the development of the Cayenne, which brought record profits. It allowed Porsche to grow into one of the most profitable car makers in history. It proved that Porsche could also adapt, and it inspired a new generation of engineers and drivers to see that simplicity and balance and joy matter more than power and price. The 986 Boxster will never be the loudest, fastest or rarest Porsche ever, but it was the right car at the right time. It carried a company's future on its back, and in doing so it saved one of the greatest automotive legacies on earth, and it helped it grow into what it is today, building some of the greatest and most competitive sports and race cars in the world. It may sometimes be called the poor man's Porsche, but in truth, without it, you may not have the icons you see today. The Carrera GT may never have seen the light of day, or the now iconic GT3 RSs wouldn't be dominating track days worldwide. So, it might not be your icon, but without it, Porsche may have just ceased to exist.